Good morning, everybody. Steven Ruderman here with your Insomniac Lunatic Friends Giants pregame show. The Giants, of course, called up Bryce Eldridge and Jesus Rodriguez on Monday. Neither one of them got a hit, though Eldridge did get a walk. But the Giants definitely played with a lot more urgency Monday night en route to a 3-2 win. It got interesting in the ninth inning, but they did hold on to win. You know what's weird? I got a weird sense watching Luis Arias, who, by the way, I wanted Luis Arias. The nerds don't like him because he plays small ball. And one of the reasons was, well, he's not a good defender. He wasn't. But Ron Washington has now turned him into one of the best second basemen in all of baseball. Anyway, I got the sense maybe this guy is the leader they need. Maybe this guy lit a fire under this team's ass. And apparently it sounds like that's what happened. He had some words for the team prior to the game Monday. And then last night, the Giants jumped out to a 4-1 lead behind Logan Webb. Jesus Rodriguez got his first big league hit in RBI, a little fist job to right field. Willie Adames ran through Hector Borg's stop sign. With all due respect to Hector Borg, I'm not sure he's the greatest guy to listen to right now, and I'm not, kids, listen to your third base coach for the most part. But Hector Borg has had, a brutal last several days, and he's kind of new to coaching third base, I think. So, I can understand Willie Adames running through, and things looked like they were getting better, but we have to remember, Logan Webb is off to a really rough start this year. The Padres scored 5 runs in the top of the fourth inning to take a 6-4 lead, and the Giants were just dead the rest of the way. And I just can't help but feel that what was a new sense of urgency for this team on Monday and for the first 3 innings last night was pretty much wiped away by that 5-run fourth inning by the Padres, and that was. The Giants have suffered some really horrible losses over the last week, being 2 outs away in the first game of the doubleheader in Philly and 1 out away from the second game in Philly, leading in the 8th inning and then losing on Sunday. I honestly think last night takes the cake for the worst loss just because this team really looked like they found a new sense of urgency. The kids bringing up Bryce Eldridge and Jesus Rodriguez seemed to pump some, along with Luis Arias' little speech, if you will, seemed to pump some energy into this team. And then for Logan Webb to blow that, it just really seemed to wipe all that out. The thing is with Logan Webb, some people, there are lots of things that could be going on here. He could be tipping pitches. He could be hurt and not telling anyone. Here's the thing, Logan Webb's a gamer. A lot of these guys, they don't want to tell people if they're hurt. I have no clue what it is with Webb. Could be pitching in the World Baseball Classics if there are other pitchers who've pitched in the World Baseball Classics who are having just fine years. ABS could be a factor. Apparently Webb was getting the most called strikes outside of that stupid box of any pitcher in all of baseball. And of course now with ABS, he's not getting as many of those pitches, and this does show that, calling balls and strikes is an art and not a science, and that it's supposed to be an art. And is the perfect example of why a 2-inch buffer zone where all calls stand is the most reasonable compromise ever. So Logan Webb has been off to a horrendous start this season. I felt like he was finally getting it together last night, but again, he just imploded in the 4th inning, and the Giants end up losing 10-5. Jesus Rodriguez also hit an opposite field home run later in the game to the top of the 24-foot high Willie Mays wall out in right field of the green 10. It's always kind of cool when a home run hits that and it makes that sound. A la JT Snow's home run off Armando Benitez in the 2000 NLDS game 2 in the 9th inning. And actually, if you listen to that, the sound and the crowd after sounded just like a TIE fighter from Star Wars. I'm not joking. Anyway, Jesus Rodriguez is the real deal. And I love he's got the most unique batting stance ever. Shades of Tony Bautista. Remember Tony Bautista? He'd would stand wide and hold his bat weird. Now, there are some obvious differences. Jesus Rodriguez is not wide open with his legs the way Tony Bautista was. And he has his own distinct thing where he basically has his left foot kind of tippy-toeing there, and he holds the bat like this. I love this kid. I said I think this kid could be a star. I mean, at the very least, this guy is going to be a solid everyday major leaguer for years to come. What I love about him, contact hitter, hits 300, doesn't strike out much. Same with Drew Gilbert. And both Rodriguez and Gilbert, they're different. And baseball, until, 10, 15 years ago, used to be a place for people who were different. And unfortunately, with how corporate it's become very hostile to people who are different. Everything is uniform now. The announcers, the umpires, even the players, no one has any personalities. No one has any unique batting stances. Drew Gilbert, loves getting choked out before every game. And Jesus Rodriguez has just one of the weirdest batting stances ever. These guys are going to be are going to be big parts of the team going forward. Now, speaking of the team going forward, I have been saying for months, I have been saying since the end of last July, actually, that the Giants are clearly rebuilding. I will probably say this on every stream I do throughout the next 3 years. They are clearly rebuilding. They are at least trying to compete while they rebuild. But the rebuild is taking precedent, and oftentimes when you rebuild, well, most times, probably well over 90% of the time when you rebuild, you're not going to do very well. The playoffs are always going to be a tall ask this season. But unfortunately now it's looking like this could be a pretty bad season. I hope not, because despite the fact that they are rebuilding, there is too much talent on this team to not at the very least compete into the final month of the season in September. But looking at this team and the fact that they're in a rebuild, I just can't help but think this is starting to look like it's going to be a lost year. I hope I'm wrong, but it's not looking good. I'm getting more of a 2007. Some people are comparing this to 2017. Oh, the expectations. There weren't really any expectations for this team. Again, making the playoffs was always going to be a tall ask for this team. This is a lot more like 2007. New manager, team clearly looking to the future, and they're not going to be as bad as they were in 17. My honest bet right now would be 70 and 92. I hope they do better than that, but 70 and 92 is my honest bet right now. Giants were 64 and 98 in 2017. I don't think they're going to be that bad. They were 71 and 91 in 2007. But the good thing is despite how bad the major league team is playing, the kids are making a real impact. And as I've said, if the Giants are going to make a run at this thing and at the very least contend into September, it's going to be the kids who are going to have to step up and lead the charge. Speaking of the minor leagues, despite the fact that the Giants are dead last in the majors in runs, home runs, walks, stolen bases, and on-base percentage, the Giants minor leaguers combined for the best overall record in all of baseball in April and the highest batting average. How about that? So see, there is hope for the future. Unfortunately, we are going to have to go through 3 years of a rebuild. And come 2029, when Bryce Aldridge, Jesus Rodriguez, and Drew Gilbert are all established, once we have guys like Gavin Killen and Joshua Gonzalez up, this team will truly be ready to compete and make a run at the title. That's the good news. This team does have a bright future. Just as I said that 2021, as special as it was, one of my favorite seasons ever, was the worst thing that could have happened to this team. The collapse last season, as much as that still hurts, was the best thing that could have happened to this team. 2021 made Farhan and company realize, 2021 made Farhan and company think, oh, all right, we got everything we need. Time to win now. Giants went out for 4 years doing that. The Giants replaced Farhan with Buster. Oh, we just need a new voice at the top. And then the collapse last July made Buster realize, okay, we got to go in a new direction overall. So the Giants are rebuilding, and Buster has done a great job building the farm. We still need Buster to start developing some pitching. And the good news is if the Giants are truly out of it in July, which I think is starting to be more likely than not, the Giants could get a lot in return for Logan Webb, for Robbie Ray. I kind of want to hold on to Luis Arias, but I feel like he'd get a lot in return. And I think you also have to look at moving guys like Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, and Rafael Devers. And it'll be interesting to see if teams take those contracts. And I never was thrilled about Rafael Devers coming to the Giants with the problems he had in Boston, which, of course, the Red Sox had a lot to do with. combined with the fact that the Giants traded Kyle Harrison for him, this may turn out to be one of the worst trades in Giants history. But if the Giants can unload those three contracts of Chapman, Adames, and Devers, and Chapman just looks a lot more unhappy this year. He really does. Chapman is not the leader that he was the last 2 years. He really is not. And I feel like the Giants may need to get rid of all three of those guys if they truly fall out of it this year. As I said, names I mentioned, the Giants could get a lot of good prospects in return. And as I said, Buster is doing a really good job developing the farm. He did a bad job on the pitching side in the offseason, but he did a really good job on the offensive side in the offseason, and he's doing a great job building the farm. I think Buster has a true long-term plan. As I've said, Tony Vitello is a long-term manager. Even though Buster did a horrible job on the pitching side, I was really vindicated last night. I wanted the Giants to sign, Zach Gallen. I wanted the Giants to even go after Dylan Cease. A lot of people wanted the Giants to go after Framber Valdez, which I made clear I did not want, because in September, after I think giving up a grand slam, he hit his own catcher with a pitch. So he went to the Tigers, and the Tigers are not off to a great start. Tigers were getting blown out 10-2 by the Red Sox at Comerica Park last night. After giving up back-to-back home runs, he drills a guy, bench is clear, and he hides like a little coward in the back of the scrum. I took a lot of shit for opposing the Giants signing Framber Valdez. I think I'll take my apologies right now. Giants dodged a real bullet on that one. This guy might be the new Vicente Padilla. And let me tell you about Padilla. That guy was a sick son of a bitch. All right. On a more lighter side today, today is Willie Mays' 95th birthday. Of course, Willie passed away almost 2 years ago. One of the greatest ball players who ever lived. And this morning, he received a very special honor. A portion of Interstate 80, I-80, near Oracle Park has officially been designated as the Willie Mays Highway. Just a really cool thing for one of the greatest players who ever lived. So, Willie, happy birthday, and we miss you very, very much. All right. Giants need a win today because, hey, I'm still not giving up on this season. I feel like Tony Vitello, along with some of the personalities we have on this team, they could play over their heads and contend into September, perhaps even make the playoffs, at which point, who knows what can happen. All right, this has been a production of Sports Radio Service. The views and language on this show do not reflect those of Sports Radio Service, its leader, my boss, Lee Leonard, or their advertisers and sponsors. For Lee, I'm Stephen Rubin. I hope you enjoyed my morning musings. Giants need a win today, and they've got their hopes riding on Adrian Hauser. Enjoy the game. I'll talk to you soon.